Hello and good evening. You're welcome to Evening Talks from Frontline TV. My name is Musa Calvin, your host on the program, and I do want to encourage you to stay close to your phones or wherever you're watching us from to enjoy the package of today. And today we're going to have an interesting discussion which has to do with advocacy for education, access and reform. So on that note, I have with me two wonderful people from the Next Gen Changemakers Initiative. So I will allow my guests to introduce themselves. By my left, I have...
Okay, thank you. My name is Solomon Olamide Obiora, the founder and executive director of the Next Gen Changemakers Initiative.
Solomon, thank you for coming onto the program.
Thank you very much.
And on my right, I have...
Blessing Ishaku, the Programs Director of Next Gen Changemakers Initiative, sir.
All right, there you have it. My guests have introduced themselves. So we're going to go straight into the nitty-gritty of the program. And don't forget, in the course of you watching us, you can as well leave your comments at the comment section and we'll surely get back to you in case you want to know more about what Next Gen Changemakers Initiative is all about. Well, the Next Gen Changemakers Initiative are actually coming up with a project, am I right?
Yes.
That project is Youth Voices for Change, Advocacy for Education, Access and Reform. So you are all welcome. Stay tuned and have a wonderful viewing time with us. I'm going to start with Mr. Solomon Olamide. Solomon, what is the Next Gen Changemakers Initiative all about and what inspired this project?
Okay, thank you very much. The Next Gen Changemakers Initiative is a non-governmental, non-profit organization that is dedicated to raising future leaders. And at Next Gen, we believe that education is one of the foundation for building leadership in young people, so that you can catch them young from the school. But then the problem is access. Not everyone has access to quality education, especially those in the rural and undeveloped area. So that is why we, the Next Gen Changemakers Initiative, decided to okay, let's bring up a platform so that we can be a voice of those that their voice cannot be heard and take their cries to where their cries matters. So that's what inspired the Youth Voices for Change, the advocacy for education, access, and reform.
Reform. Okay. That's a very nice one. So, Blessing, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes. Well, we believe the passion behind this is that the education will transform lives because we strongly believe that when these young voices are equipped and their voices are being heard, the entire community will benefit from it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now still on you, Blessing.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the activities you are carrying out under this project? I want to believe that there are some activities, right?
Yes.
So can you just intimate us on some of the activities?
Okay. Some of the activities include, we have leadership training workshop, which we'll be carrying out this year. We also have advocacy visits to stakeholders. The stakeholders include the Commissioner of Education because our project this year centers on education. So we believe she will be a very vital role in this. And we also have series of radio talk shows running from October this month to early of November. And this is one of the talk show already. So we believe with this, we'll be able to reach the gap of our conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. Solomon?
Yes. Like she said, our approach, we're doing it in two perspectives. We have a community-based approach and then the media-based approach, in the sense that we're not just talking to the media, we're also reaching to the grassroots and creating awareness, making sure that the people know that something like this is happening, and also using the media to reach out to those stakeholders and the policymakers and tell them that Youth Voices for Change is actually here to help these people.
Okay, now let me just digress a little bit. We have 16 local governments in Taraba State and we have 3 senatorial zones. How well are you guys going to expand this awareness?
Okay, we're thinking of expanding the awareness in the sense that in each local government, we're going to have an ambassador that's going to be representing the organization. Yes, but then what we want to do first is that will come after the leadership
Training.
Workshop.
that will be happening later this year.
Okay, later this year. Okay, so you have actually prepared your mind, because that means you have to do a lot of strategy, homework, research for every of the youths out there to become beneficiaries of this project.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to ask Blessing. Tell me, challenges. What have you observed in terms of the access to education?
Thank you so much. Well, we believe there are lots and lots of challenges, but for the sake of time and emphasis, we're going to be limiting ourselves to some of the key challenges. And one of the major one is the inequality gap between the urban and rural schools. And we also have the affordability issues, because they want to go to these schools, but some of our schools are so expensive, we cannot afford them. And we also have the policy implementation gap. Even when this policy exists, it's the implementation of them are very, very weak, sir.
What did you mention? Inequality.
Well, the inequality in the aspect of the rural and urban schools. Most of the schools in the rural area are not really equipped with some of the facilities that these young minds need for a proper education, sir.
So, which means you're going to do a lot of work when it comes to the rural areas.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A lot of work.
Then Solomon.
Yes, sir. So, like she said, the difference from inequality in the rural and the urban areas. So, we now, what we plan to do is to come in between them and now bridge that. Okay, there are people also in these rural areas that are very much interested in going to school and learning and becoming something for their future, but then they don't have access to the quality educations that are available in the rural areas. Yeah, so we're trying to bridge that gap and then see how the problem can be solved and what solution can be rendered to remedy the problem that's on ground.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, Solomon, still, I want to ask you this question. First, can you share any progress or partnership so far? But before you answer that question, the Next Gen initiative,
Yeah.
how old is it now?
Okay. The Next Gen Changemakers initiative, we started not too long ago because, like I said, it is an organization that was given birth to with the desire to raise future leaders. We looked at the situation of things going on in the state and we find out that young people need to actually step up and then take the mantle. So that's why we're just under here.
Okay, now that's why I asked that question. If you can share with us any progress or partnership so far.
Yes, no, we have actually made a groundbreaking partnership. The most important one is the partnership we have with the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund, which is NYFF.
Okay.
Yes, they support this our project, which is the Youth Voice for Change Advocacy for Education Access and Reform. Because when we told them about the project, they saw the vision and then they saw that the project has like capacity to deliver. So they were like, we're interested in this project and we want to support it, which they did.
So by the special grace of God, there's going to be sustainability
Definitely
in this project.
Yes.
Because I don't think it's supposed to be a project that you start and stop along the way.
Yes.
So that means all hands have to just be on deck.
And then
You understand?
and not just the NYFF, we're also leading partnership with other media houses like Frontline TV that are going to help us take our message to those people outside there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Blessing.
Yes, sir. We also have inspiring stories. Although the initiative is under a year, but we have interviewed one or two young voices, and one of the leaders we interviewed shared her experience on how education made her a key factor in her community. So we strongly believe with stories like this, our message will definitely reach out to others.
Okay,
Yes,
that's interesting. And I want to believe that it will get to a point that you would like people to actually support
Yes.
this project.
Yes, sir.
So how can they support your work?
Well, to my amiable listeners and viewers out there, you can support us by reaching out to us, sharing your stories, and most importantly, joining the advocacy for this education access, because we believe with this we can reach what we want to reach. And we strongly believe that our parents and teachers also have vital role to play in this initiative.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Solomon, can you add something to that?
Yes, we also encourage the young people, especially the young people, to reach out to Next Gen Changemakers Initiative. We have our platforms. We have platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, which is now X. You can reach out to us, drop a message that okay, you like what we're doing, and then you want to support, you want to partner with us, and we'll be very much happy to listen to you, because we believe that on our own we cannot do it, but then together we can have the how will I put it, we can have the voice loud enough that they will be able to hear, and then we can be able to bring solution to these people.
Now, you talked about other media stations. How are you going to go about that? Because there are some of the children in the grassroots that some don't understand English. How do you intend to get across to them so that they will actually know the value and the benefits entailed concerning this project?
Okay. How we want to do it? We want to do it in a phase, like want to phase the project in the sense that what we're doing now is like we're introducing it. You understand? So once we have the Frontline TV, we have radio stations. So once we have them on ground, then we have like established our stand. From there now we can now proceed to the local governments, where we can now have all those ambassadors that I talked about reaching out to the village head, the community leader, and then seeing how they now can now teach them. Then they can now tell their young ones that okay, these people, this and this are what they are doing.
Now, we talked about sustainability,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
How do you intend to go about sustaining this project? Because it's very interesting, it's very catchy, and I want to believe that at the end of the day, a lot of our youths, especially those at the grassroots, will benefit from this project. So how do you intend to go about the issue of sustainability?
Well, in the issue of sustainability, we don't just want to limit ourselves to just the workshops. Even after the workshops, we plan on having series of activities, even at the grassroots level, reaching out to them one way or the other to maintain the sustainability, because we don't want the situation where we want to start now and then give people a high sense of anticipation and then we keep them in the middle. So we want to believe that after our workshops, we still have series of activities that we plan to carry out.
But you remember I said earlier, we have 3 senatorial zones.
Yes,
Is it
sir.
that you're going to congest everything at once, or each zone is going to have its own timetable?
Yes, each zone.
Each zone
Definitely,
will
yes, yes.
And what's the duration of some of these projects concerning each of these zones?
Okay, after our workshop, which is ending of this year, December, we plan to kickstart more of the activities next year. So after the executive might have sit down and planted how the zones will be splitted out, that's when we can effectively start them.
Okay, now Solomon, how do you want to, or shall I say, how would you approach the stakeholders for effective support and collaboration?
Okay. I believe that the project we are spearheading is a project that is welcomed by all. It's even the present administration. It's also one of their most valued how will I say it? Their most valued point, their most valued agenda. Yes, let me use that agenda, because it wants to invest in education. So if we now say okay, we are advocating for education in these rural areas where the education is not has not reached them yet to that certain extent. So I believe that it's something that they would welcome with open hands, because we are doing what they also have interest in. So we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for them. So we have like a mutual interest in the project. So I believe they welcome that.
Okay, now I just want you to, Solomon, shed more light about the education reform. What's that one all about?
Okay, the education reform is the way when Blessing said when she was talking that there are policies that support this sort of education, but then the implementation is weak. So what we'll now do is, okay, these policies have already been passed by the House of Representatives and all those people at the top, it has already been passed into law, but then the enforcement is weak. So we will now take all these policies and now bring it to the policymakers and stakeholders in the state and now present to them that okay, these and these policies have already been implemented and passed, but then their enforcement is weak in the state. So how can you now remedy it and see it being enforced and being practiced in the state? So that's what the whole education reform comes in.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yes.
Now, there's no way you tell me that you will not encounter challenges.
Sure.
You understand? There's no way you make me to believe that you will not encounter challenges. And I don't know whether you have measures to mitigate those challenges. And there's this issue of personal interest.
Yes.
Some people will like their own personal interest to come forth and stuff like that. How do you intend to solve some of those challenges in order for this project to stand the test of time?
Okay. Well, first of all, the main idea we have is not being selfish. Although there are people who might want to have their personal interest in this, but I think Next Gen initiative will be strictly grounded with their rules, objectives, and also goals. I think with us being grounded with our aim, our goals and objectives, I think we can be able to sustain this.
Then what of the parents? The parents of the younger ones that you guys have earmarked to be beneficiaries of this project. Parents, how would you reach out to them? How would you be able to create awareness to them? How would you be able to convince them that at the end of the tunnel there's always going to be light?
Well, to our parents, I believe if they can be okay, let's say some of them might not have access to the media. With this, I'm sure some parents will easily get our message. But to parents who cannot get our message, that's why we mentioned about ambassadors. They can be able to reach out to our parents, maybe having simple interviews with them at the grassroots level. With this, I'm sure we can be able to convince them and tell them of how important these initiatives are.
So, Solomon, what other ways will you be able to mitigate these challenges?
Okay. First of all, like she was saying, we have not yet finished mapping out how we're going to go into central zones, but then the initial idea we had was to hold like a town hall meeting. Yes, in these places where we see the problems are, hold a town hall meeting, invite the district head, the community leader, invite them for this town hall meeting, and invite the people, the parents you talk about, invite the parents and bring them to this town hall meeting. And we'll now tell them this is our mission. We are advocating for educational access and reform for your children. And your children are the future leaders of tomorrow. Every parent's dream is to see that his child is more than him. His child achieves what he could not achieve. So I believe if we do that, they will key into the vision and will also support the vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in case if you're just joining us, you're watching Evening Talks coming to you straight from Frontline TV live, and we've been discussing with Next Gen initiative, right?
Yes, sir.
And they've been shedding more light about the project that is upcoming. That is the project that has to do with Voices of the Youth for Change. You understand? Advocacy for education access and reform. So what can you still say concerning the Voices of the Youth for Change?
Well, we believe that every young person has a voice out there, and our parents, should I say, are really weak for this. So I believe we are the ones to make that change, because we can't keep lagging. If we keep being relaxed, I'm sure there is no future for us. So I believe every youth have a voice, no matter how little it is. Your voice out there will definitely make a change.
Then the minds of the policy makers. There are some people that have not they've not had the opportunity of going outside their comfort zone to actually see and value all these kind of stuffs. We have the policy makers. How do you intend to go about their mentality, their psyche, so that they will embrace this project to the fullest and not just to see it as if it's a mere joke? Because remember earlier I said something about sustainability.
Yes.
Now, if you don't sustain it, is a problem. That
Sure.
means the project has failed. You understand? So what are your plans about working on the mentality of a policy makers? Because remember, there are three senatorial zones, and everybody has his own way of thinking,
Sure.
perceiving,
Yes.
and understanding.
Exactly.
The policymakers are also some of your stakeholders,
Yes,
right?
sure.
Now, how do you intend to approach them so that they will continue buying into this project, sustaining and even supporting the project? How do you intend to do
let
that?
me drop in on this one. The how would it do it? Because we cannot just attack the policymakers head on and tell them, okay, we have a project and we want you to buy into it, and you think we'll just play it. So what we would intend doing is we want to get like experiences, go into these local governments, these rural areas, interview them, get the videos, get the pictures, get hard evidences that these people actually need help. When we have gathered all those, then we will now come and then meet the stakeholders head on. That okay, sir, ma, we have done our research, we have carried out our assignments, and this and this and this local government are in desperate need of education access and reform. And already it has already been implemented in the bill. It's already been passed in the bill, so we need enforcement. And I believe the policymakers, they are there to help the masses, and they are not wicked enough so that they will see all the evidence and they'll be like, no, I will not help it. I believe they will not, they are not as wicked as that. So I believe with the evidence that we would have gathered and present to them, they would be moved to render their assistance, and then by so doing, the project will have sustainability, because by so then they will now support the project and they will now key into it and see that the project actually comes to pass, because by doing so they are also fulfilling their obligations to the masses.
Well, can I swap over to you, Blessing? What can you add to that?
Well, it's not going to be an easy task, because just like you said, people have different way they perceive or see how something is. It's not going to be easy, but just like my team lead and executive director has said, getting all these evidences will be very useful to us. We'll be able to reach out to them, and I'm sure no matter how small it is, their help will be a very big help to us.
Now, let's talk about the platform to advocate for reforms that makes education accessible and inclusive for all. So please, can you shed more light on that?
Sorry, sir, Christian.
We're talking about the issue of the inspiration.
Yes.
You understand? The platform. You understand? The need to give young people a platform to advocate for reforms that makes education accessible and inclusive for all. Can you shed more light on that?
Well, we want people to know that education is not just there. It's something that should I put it like their rights. So with this reform, I'm sure they should be guided that the education aspect should not be abused. They have the exclusive right to have this education.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, before we wrap up this edition of the program, at the end of the day, tell me the benefits to be gained out of this project.
Well, the benefits include being educated. Being educated alone is something to be proud of, because it's fun to see yourself among your peers having to contribute or having to share more light into discussions. So with this reform and with this initiative, we plan to make our masses, or should I say the young voices down there, to have a benefit that yes, no matter what it takes, no matter how little or where I come from, I can still be educated.
Okay, so Solomon, please can you add to that?
Yes, like what she said, the goal at the end of the day is to see that more people are educated, and then by doing so, you're providing more opportunities, because when someone is illiterate and has no education whatsoever, that's when you have this like all this thievery, armed robbery, and they have like vices that they can get into because they don't have education. But then when they're educated, they know that okay, these things are harmful not just to me but then to the community and the country at large. Yeah, so by educating them, we're actually cutting down on some of all these things that will, at the end of the day, contribute to the breakdown of law and order in society.
Tell me more about this leadership training workshop. What is it all about? Or what is it going to be all about?
Yes, the leadership training workshop is going to be a 2-day training workshop where we'll bring in youth, like young people from these local governments that we mentioned. Yes, we'll bring in people that not just anybody for now. We'll bring in the people that are their voices can be heard. Let's say probably maybe there's an advisor or somebody that is like a youth leader, youth leaders of this local government. We'll bring them in for a 2-day leadership training workshop where we'll now educate them on this is what we're doing, this is the projects that we're doing, and now send them back to each of their local government where they will now serve as our ambassadors for us to now reach those local governments, because we don't know local government the way they do, because they are from the local government. So after the training now, they will now go back as our foreigners into this local government to now preach what we now preach until we now get there and then effect the town hall meetings and everything that we're going to do after the leadership training workshop.
Okay.
Yes.
Next Gen Changemakers Initiative is still going to be a continuous project.
Yes.
And this is the first of its kind. And this is the first you're partnering with Frontline TV for all the discussions and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
So how how is everything going to be like? Because I'm really interested in this Next Gen Changemakers Initiative project. I'm kind of like particularly interested in your love, your passion. And so how's it going to be, the way you want to collaborate with us here?
Okay, the way we would like to collaborate with Frontline TV is because seeing as in the state, Frontline TV has a wide range. Like once I wake up in the morning, I on my phone, I scroll, the first thing I see is Frontline newspaper review.
That's good, that's interesting.
So definitely if 100 people wake up and see Frontline TV with Next Gen on their phone, I believe they will be even if not all the 100, I believe 50 out of 100 will be interested. I'm like, oh, this is a nice, let's key into it. That's why we said, okay, we want to work with Frontline TV and see how we can make this place like a platform so that our voices can reach to places that we cannot possibly go ourselves.
I'm holding you guys to your words. Okay, now coming back to the community.
Yeah.
What do they stand to benefit?
No, they stand to benefit a lot as a community, because when most of the young people in your community are educated, it's something of pride when you have baristas, you have engineers, you have architects coming out from your community. And when these people go out, they will now, okay, I am from so and so community. So it brings like a sense of joy and
pride
to the community that, okay, our sons and daughters are educated and they're out there representing us. So that's what we want to do.
Then these young ones that are coming up, also, what do they stand to benefit?
Yes. There's an adage that says it is the front leg of the horse that the back one follows.
Yeah.
So once we have set a precedent that, okay, education is your right and you have a right to be educated, if these ones are educated and the young ones see that, okay, my brother was educated and now he's doing well for himself, okay, I also want to be like my brother, so I want to be educated as well. So it goes a long way in carving down the illiteracy margin and then bringing it down to the barest minimum.
Okay.
That's what we want to do.
Blessing.
Yes, sir.
There's this saying, if you educate a girl, you have educated
community.
not only a community.
A boy.
No.
The country.
So the girl child.
Yes.
What's your call to them?
Well, personally, I'm a girl, so I think it will be something to be proud of and happy that I see young ladies engaging effectively in this initiative. because as a girl, or should I say as a lady, there is this tendency that you being educated gives room for you to speak up. Because I think in our country today, the margin line, or should I say the gap between education of a boy and a girl, it's very big. So I think ladies need to stand up because we can do this. I'm very sure that we can do this.
So you are very, very, very sure that the Youth Voices for Change, advocacy for education, access and reform, it's, you're very sure that the ladies also, the girls also need it. I mean,
yes, very
okay,
sure.
that's very interesting. We just hope that everything is going to stand the test of time, because, you know, there are some of these projects that at times they die naturally.
Yes.
But I don't think that is going to be the story for Next Gen Change Makers Initiative.
Yes, sir.
So how long are you guys still going to continue with this project? Because it's barely a year that you guys started, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for how long, or is this something that doesn't have any time frame?
No, there's no particular, like, okay, after we reach 2 months or 3 months, we want to end the project. No, it does not have a particular time frame. The only thing that will be, we might not be bringing it to the limelight, because we'll be working in the background.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because after the leadership training workshop is over, we'll now be reaching out to these communities individually. Yes. Then from there, we'll now meet these policymakers.
Mm-hmm.
So when next you would hear of this project might be maybe when some policy reforms are being implemented in the states. That's when you now hear that, okay, the Youth Voices for Change actually contributed to the implementation of policy reform in education in the state.
Now, at the end of everything, are there possibilities that when these young people are well educated and they have access to these quality reforms you people have been talking about, scholarships, will they be able to get scholarships when they want to further their education out of this country?
Yeah, well, we believe that when we've been able to set the standard already, that's why we still...
Okay, there's a standard.
Yes, we still believe that these stakeholders we're planning to reach out to, which is part of the activities you mentioned earlier. There are stakeholders who really believe that education is good, and I'm sure they're ready to reach out, because we've heard of stakeholders who have granted scholarships to people who cannot afford them. So we plan to help these ones who cannot afford this education to be able to get scholarship programs to be able to reach out there.
Okay, do you have anything to add to that too?
No, she
said everything. Okay, don't forget to drop your questions at the comment section, and you have been watching Frontline TV Evening Talks, coming to you live here from our studios. And I had the privilege of talking or discussing issues with the team leader, talking about Solomon Olamide and also Blessing Ishaku. And these are the pioneer officers that has to do with the Next Gen Change Makers Initiative. It's a project designed especially for our young ones that cuts across the 3 senatorial zones of our dear state. So, and this is the first of our discussion. Subsequently, we have other discussion programs that will be coming up to enlighten you and to keep you abreast of the journey so far that has to do with the progress, the achievements of Next Gen Change Makers Initiative. Thank you very much, Blessing Ishaku, for coming onto the program.
Thank you so much.
We'll be seeing more of you very soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Solomon Olamide, thank you very much for coming onto the program.
Thank you very much.
So, in no distant time, when everything is in play, you are going to be here, tag along with us, so that our people will be current about the journey so far.
Okay.
So there you have it. You have just watched Evening Talk that came to you from the studios of Frontline TV. Thanks for watching. Musa Kali is my name. Have a great day. Bye for now.